Lore.
What's up? This is IUS Horizon Podcast on April 13th. We are doing stories, lore, background information about us, etc. I don't know. I forgot what we were doing completely today.
Lore.
So, I don't know if I go first or are we going around?
It was kind of just like, if you have a story, go for it.
Yeah.
I have
Story about what?
Anything.
This is like,
Anything.
what is some interesting stories that you've experienced or that your parents have experienced? Was the
I
main
have
concept.
a funny one.
Drop the lore, Greg.
I have a funny quick one if you want me to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my parents were high school sweethearts. They got a divorce when I was 6 years old. And a year later, my mom ended up with my dad's best friend since middle school.
Wow.
That's weird.
Are they still together?
Yes. And
Oh.
my dad is no longer friends with this man.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't be either.
Yeah.
No, I
It
wouldn't
was like a month after the divorce, they ended up like starting dating.
Wow.
Wait, this actually triggers my memory. Was anyone else going to go next? I actually have a parent lore. Okay. So, actually, funny enough, before my dad, my mother was engaged to another guy. His name was Chris. I don't like any Chris's. Never met a nice one in my life.
Oh.
And this is not the same. This guy, he proposed to my mother. Okay. It was great. And then he proceeds to go and cheat on her and break my mom's heart. And then she found my dad. But that was a good thing, probably. But screw Chris for that. Because that's not okay. Why would you do that? Someone else can do.
You got the one more you mentioned.
We want to hear
Sorry.
the church lore.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's see. Let's start this off. Ron probably knows this. I do not know when this pastor first came to our church. Actually, wait, I kind of do. Because it was when I was 11 years old. He's going to write it down. Anyways, so we had, I've been going to this church since I was born, okay? Since I was a little wee baby. 2018. That makes sense. That does make sense. Okay, so he came around there. But, so I've grown up at this church. It's like a second home to me. And we had this pastor there. His name was Jerry. Great guy. But he was getting older and wanted to retire. And so a committee with my mom and Ron was on it too. They were looking for a new pastor and they found one. And I'm not going to say his name just because, but he seemed like a pretty cool guy, right? He was very, like he could talk really well. He was easy to kind of be friends with. He seemed like someone just really cool, funny, you know. And he had an older daughter and a younger daughter. I was closer to his younger daughter because we were around the same age. I had sleepovers over at their house, you know. And I had heard some stuff from the friend that was his daughter, where she told me that he can get really angry. He can throw stuff. He can. Stuff like that, which, you know, my dad's got angry, but of course I didn't know like to this extent. We also had a mission serve. I don't know if any of you know what a mission serve is. Technically what it is it was held in Jeffersonville, and it was where we all stayed at the church. There was a men's part, women's part, and we would go out and we all had different projects. Like for one of mine, we built a shed for someone. It was really cool. Also pulling out roots, just stuff to help the community. And this will come around. This will come around later. And then as time went on, Ron had mentioned around 2020, before COVID, he had been advised to, you know, go and get help for his anger issues because it was starting to affect not just his family but also the environment of the church and everything. And he was like, sure, cool, all good. But then COVID happened, and how can you know, go out and do that when COVID's going on? Can't really do that. And so there was a break from the church, and then people came back. And then, I mean, obviously I don't know how old I was. I was in my early teens. I was like 13, 14, 15 years old. And he left. And this man, the pastor, was very close to my dad. They were like really close. My dad was like his right-hand man at the church. My dad was a deacon. Um, and he and his family left. They lived on the church property, by the way. There's like a parsonage and they lived there. And so after they left, there was kind of a split in the church where half the people stayed and half left. And that half that left, I was kind of in. It's kind of like the friend group, I guess. It was a good chunk of people. And they hadn't made a new church. They kind of did. It was called, it wasn't called this yet, but Matthew 14. And they were kind of following the pastor that I've been talking about. And later on, I'm in my room at home and I get a text from my friend that I grew up at this church with. And she was like, hey, the pastor, he's in jail. And I'm like, what? Like, it just didn't make any sense because I've known this man, for years. I've known his kids. I've known his wife. His wife is a really sweet woman. And I'm like, why? How is he in? I tell my parents are like, no, like, that doesn't make any sense. And I end up eventually learning that he had been having sex with a 14-year-old girl. That's when it started. So he came from a church in Fort Wayne, and that's where it started. Okay, she was 14, and it went on for a good amount of time. And he was in his mid to late 30s. And I'm trying to make sure I get this all right. What he would tell her to make her stay around is that he was going to kill himself. That's what he would say. He would say, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. And saying that to a 14-year-old girl, that's like, what the fuck?
And he's in his 30s and he's saying that?
Yes, and he's married, has 2 kids. Yeah. And so he does end up getting charged and going to jail. It's only for 2 years, which I think is a little, you've been manipulating this girl for years. But yeah, and then many places got lawsuits from the girl, even our church, because during mission serve, they were doing stuff on the property. They would go to stop at hotels when he was taking her to Fort Wayne. Things happened in Fort Wayne. Things happened at different youth events. And mind you, this girl was the same age as his eldest daughter, and that was his eldest daughter's best friend. So just imagine, think of your best friend and think of your parent having sex with your best friend. It's disgusting. And he now works at Applebee's. He is still with his wife. They are still together. Yes, they still live together. They are still together. His kids are still around him. They all still live together. His kids even worked while they were in school to help pay for his, stuff in prison and all that kind of stuff. He still owes people thousands of dollars in money from my church. He has not apologized or said sorry about anything. And to top it off, that church I was talking about, that new one, Matthew 14, they're literally considering letting him go there. There are kids there. There are children at this church. He is holding a Bible study that some of those people are going to.
Can we go boycott this Bible study as an after school event?
I'm saying, bro. So
I have
disgusting.
a speakerphone.
yes.
Pull up.
So as of now, that church it's almost closed a couple, the church that I grew up at. It's almost closed a couple of times due to this. And it's still struggling. It's getting better, but it's still struggling. And I lost, my second home because of stupid adults. But that's my church story right there.
Story time.
I also have kind of a weird church story. So it didn't happen to me. It happened to one of my family members. My family grew up in Bloomington, Indiana. It's where we're all from. And somewhere, somehow, they decided they wanted to be Baptists. They decided they specifically wanted to be independent fundamental Baptists. And if you're not like really super religious, you might not know. There's a cult up in Hammond, Indiana, called it's an independent fundamental Baptist group, and my mother was not like super involved, but she did go to church there a few times, and right a few months she actually left because she was screaming at my grandma that my grandma was going to hell for wearing pants to work.
Wow.
And then about 20 years after she left, the pastor was arrested for sex trafficking.
Story time.
Right.
He is now released and refusing to file register under the sex offender registry. The only way he can get arrested for that, though, is if we know the county he lives in. No one knows the county he lives in.
Aren't you legally supposed to register
Yes.
them as a sex offender?
If you don't know the county they live in, you can't call the cops.
Like anytime they move, you
Yeah, but
have to let the people
But
around
if you
know.
don't know the county they live in, you can't report it
Yeah.
because the pastor is being covered up.
This is actually some tea. Okay, I don't know how familiar everybody is with Charlestown, but that's where I'm from. Okay, and I remember a while ago, I don't know, my friend and I were just like messing around, and you know those sites where you can see, oh, does a pedophile or whatever live near me? I looked up this neighborhood because there's some sketchy freaking neighborhoods, especially by parks and stuff. And apparently, I was searching it up, and apparently, there is about 14 pedophiles that live on this one specific street in Charlestown by freaking school.
Mhm.
And it was like a real site registry.
In Louisville, there's 45 in the same apartment complex.
That's the tea. Indiana, guys.
They're like swan. They flock together.
They do.
They're like, ooh, this is an ideal spot.
that's
We're gonna
the
go
truth.
here.
I'm sure I can pull it up because I know I used to have the app.
Does anyone else have some interesting lore? I got a list of.
I do
crazy
too,
lore,
but
so-
Don't we
I can
all?
talk about one thing. It's
All
not me, it's my dad.
Go for
It's his time in the service. So my dad was a Marine, and he obviously, like, you know, the Iraqi war. He went to Iraq, and he was with his squad, and he tells the story every now and then because sometimes he still has like flashes where he, like, you know, talks about it, and you know, PTSD is not fun to deal with. So what happened was, I believe he was in like a Humvee with his squad going to a place, and they hit a landmine. So already off to a bad start that day.
Yeah.
My dad passes out because big explosion typically doesn't do too well on you. So he's on the floor, and you know, he wakes up, his whole squad's, you know, yelling to like do specific stuff, but he can't hear anything because he's pretty much deaf from that explosion. But he wakes up and he like moves someone's leg off of him, like it was like right here, and so he kind of pushes pushes the leg off of his shoulder, and it flopped back down, and he's like, "Oh, that's my leg." So it was, his leg was back here. It dislocated out of his, like the ball of his hip dislocated out of it. And what he did was, he told me that it was the most like excruciating pain he's ever done in his life. But he centered his leg on the Humvee door and slammed into it to pop his like leg back into place. That worked. So he got to do all of that. And he has been not only blown up with like, you know, the uranium still in his legs. That's what I was talking about. He still has like hot flashes, I guess, where it will still like burn. But he's also been shot 3 times. So he's been either hit with bullets or blown up with a landmine. Yeah.
Goodness.
It's a miracle he didn't lose his leg.
Yeah. That's what he was like. Thank God I didn't lose my leg, because that would have sucked to live with.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, the PTSD is also not very fun to live with. So the VA is not very good at handling that either. Which is another like kind of key point I wanted to say is, the VA does not take care of the veterans very well.
No.
They need to do a lot better. I mean, they're literally giving up their lives for them and they don't pay it back at all.
Thank you for your dad's service.
Mother was there too, but she didn't get to see any action. She
Well,
was Navy.
They still did
And
amazing things.
That's where
so
they
thank
found.
you.
That's where they found each other.
Aw.
Was Marine and Navy.
That's so
Tell them we
sweet.
say. Tell them we say thank you for their service.
Pretty sure they're watching. So,
Well, we say thank you.
but I'm just thankful to God that my dad is alive and well and made it out of there.
Yeah.
Damn it, Greg, why are you telling my story? I'm kidding. I got a couple of decent story times. I technically robbed an actor on a cruise ship when I was really little, and I got away with it for about 10 minutes, like just sprinting around the ship running. Please don't hate me, Cruz. Please don't hate me. There's a. I'm not gonna watch this. Okay, so when I was really little, so I'm talking like 6 years old, my family and me went on to the Disney cruise, and at this point, Pirates of the Caribbean was extremely popular, and so they had an actor that was dressed up as Jack Sparrow, and even on the cruise, we had a pirate day where everyone dressed up as pirates and ran around and had fun. So Jack Sparrow was an actor on the ship, and I had just watched some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and everyone was running around. You got to take photos with Jack Sparrow, who had like a box of treasure next to him, and so there was a long line. And I remember the thought I had when this happened. I remember exactly what I did, and I vaguely remember me running afterward. But what happened was, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I really want to impress Jack Sparrow, because I thought it was Jack Sparrow. I was a kid. And so I remember thinking to myself, I paused, I waited a couple seconds and went, what's the best way you can impress a pirate? You steal from a pirate. And so again, entire box of like jewels and like gemstones. And some of it was like actually like real pearls. So like there was some like real stuff in here, but most of it was fake. And so little kid me looks at the chest, looks up at Jack Sparrow, and right when I was about to get the photo taken, I dive for the chest, grab a giant armful of the shit, and ran down the hall at top speed. And of course, like the guards, like there's like security that's meant to like make sure people don't steal or hurt the actor or anything. They start chasing me. I managed to avoid them for 10 minutes, diving underneath tables, sprinting down the hallways. And I remember there's a, if you ever go on the cruise, in their main hall, or at least they used to have this, there's a giant staircase and that spirals down and goes to like the main lobby with a statue in the middle. And so I had managed to grab the banister and literally lifted myself up and launched myself down the stairs trying to get away. And I tripped, and that's how they ended up getting me. And they had to walk me back and be like, well, he can run. I ended up getting the photograph, and he went, honestly, hell yeah, little kid. And I remember that part vividly because I was like, mission accomplished. I got yelled at by my parents, but I was like,
I'm sure that was a magical ass whooping you got.
mhm. They were like, why did you do that? And I was like, I wanted to impress the pirate. I remember this. I remember distinctly the hallway, the red carpet, and me dead sprinting down it and quickly curving to the left so I could get away. Yeah,
Good job.
it was a fantastic memory.
I have a funny lore. It's actually not funny. It's really sad, so I don't know if I should say it.
Why? Wait, what is it?
I don't know if
I
I
don't
should
think we can
depress
say-
everyone.
I don't think we can say it.
If you're questioning if you can say it, you probably
Oh.
shouldn't say
It's
it.
not like it's illegal.
Do it.
Okay. So, when I was about 16 years old, I had a friend group. They were not the best people. We'll say it that way. And we somehow, like, being stupid kids, we were hanging out at this park, and this park was a very bad place. And all of them started to get on harder and harder drugs. It was like a competition who could do the hardest thing. You know where this is going. We had a fentanyl dealer break into our friend group.
Just to say, oh, I want some fentanyl here.
So it started out with like the main people who ended up like starting doing the drugs started at like 12 years old doing like weed and stuff. And then it got harder and harder, Molly, like everything they could get their hands on until
Magic mushrooms.
Oh, that happened at like 12 years old. Percocets came in. They were blue. I've seen the pills myself. I gave one to a cop actually. And
Let me go, Mr. Officer. I promise I have a solution.
no, I called the cops and I say, I found one of the pills in the trash can because we knew what killed him. There's
Oh,
videos.
well, that suddenly became not funny.
So he
Someone died.
yes. It was March 20th. 4 days before my 17th birthday, he ended up his mother found him dead. Very sad. But there's kind of like a silver lining. It caused almost everyone to get sober.
That's good.
Everyone got off the pills. Everyone got off of anything they were doing. It caused a lot of sober, and that it honestly probably saved multiple lives.
Mm-hmm.
The next day we had 3 more overdoses though. Very large friend group. Let me preface that. Like it wasn't like there was like 20 of us. No, there was like 500 of us. Yeah. So we were the kids that got bullied like in high school, like the kids that should have gotten like bullied or made fun of. We just
How
made a
big
group.
was your high school?
4,000 people.
And 500 of you were friends?
Well, like multiple high schools.
Oh, okay.
It was
I
us.
want to preface that this was like.
It kind of
We can say.
okay. Technically, my friend group was recognized as a gang.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
They called us a criminal organization.
Okay.
I took it as a compliment that they called us organized. But the people who were doing the crime stuff have all been arrested, put on trial. Like there is nothing that hasn't been put on trial and talked about. Most of us were minors when this stuff happened. Most of us were under the age of 16 when all of everything went down.
Mm.
But yeah, that's one of my weirdest lore stories was when I had to save 3 lives in one day. That was fun. The 3 overdoses that happened the next day did all survive.
Was it the same
That's good.
thing?
Most of them, yeah.
Oh,
2 fentanyls, 1 DXM.
This is the admission of guilt.
I saved them. The cops interviewed me. They said I was good to go.
Wow.
But yeah, no, everything was like cleared off of law. We've all testified, gone to trial. Like this has all been fully gone through. This is 3 years ago now.
Hardest gang I
Dark
was in
real
was a
fast.
kickball gang.
No, it was like it just all got real really fast. Like in the last like month of this group, it got real.
Let's meet at this field to play some baseball. Let's meet at this field to do some crack heroin.
It was us. I never
that's
did
two
anything.
very different social groups.
Let me say this too. I never did anything illegal. I was cleared of all
Oh,
illegal
that's probably
suspicions.
true.
I was
That's true to say.
actually like the only one that wasn't like I was the medic. I
I
was
don't
the
think
medic.
Greg believes you here, but this is true.
No, I can show you
Y'all want
photos.
to go to the study? Y'all want to go to the study guide area, aka we're gonna go do some fentanyl in the back alley.
So
Underneath the bleachers.
So we would go kind of like to describe my school in my hometown. It was a really big high school. Right next to it was a Starbucks and McDonald's. And then about a block down was a giant park. We were at the park.
What
Okay.
state is this?
Indiana.
Oh,
Makes sense.
You want to know where it is? IU. Yeah, IU Bloom. That's where I'm from. But yeah, no, everything is.
Shots fired. Quickest way to get your school shut down ever.
no, literally.
My school did get put on lockdowns multiple times for shootings.
Wait, there is so much lore
The
about
dean's
frats up
contact
there.
here, like a
Oh
week.
my god.
I didn't do nothing. My high school had
You know, I find it harder and harder to believe that sentence the more you talk.
my school one time when the shooter jumped in the manhole at IU, one of the entrances that he took down there led straight to my high school's parking lot where all our cars were parked. That was fun.
That's great.
I can tell a slightly less dark story.
Well,
uh,
I got another funny one about my school.
I
Okay.
still can't get over it. Yeah, let's go meet at Starbucks and do some fentanyl in the back.
We met at the McDonald's.
Oh, okay. McDonald's is less high class.
They banned us from McDonald's.
Guys, in the back of the math class, pull out all the mushrooms you've acquired.
My one time one of the attempted shooters was taken out by a fat security guard throwing a chair at him. Rolled the chair right down.
The goat.
And then this guy on quote to the cops says, "That man was fat as fuck." Now I haven't even seen this man walk.
Hey.
The security guard wheeled himself around like this around the hallway.
He couldn't
He
walk.
was
That's
the
It's
quote.
like Paul Blart.
Yes.
Now, this guy also wasn't a shooter. He had a pellet gun. He had an airsoft gun that he painted the tip black of to get $20. His friend owed him.
Putting yourself in terrorist range to get $20.
$20 is $20, my friend.
Would you really go to prison for that though?
No.
He did. He's got a
Yeah,
kidnap.
That's what I'm saying. Would
I
you really
mean,
want to risk it all
Terrorist
for that?
threat.
For
Yeah.
$20, guys, really?
Terroristic
Really wanna
threatening.
risk it?
Yeah, most of my friend group back then, I don't talk to anymore. So if they see
Thank
this,
God.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
So the only I don't even talk to the people who were even close to associated.
Your high school gathering is going to be at a graveyard.
It is.
Greg!
Not wrong. No, my favorite thing was we did a statistic on how many of our friend group was either in high school or going to graduate high school. It's like less than 15% of us.
And wait, hold on. So about the whole graveyard class reunion thing, my brain immediately thought, like the prom tents you set up outside, it's just that on the graveyard.
Uh-huh. That would happen.
The what?
Like prom tents? Like homecoming tents, like when you go outside and there's a big tent.
You know the
And that's
tents where you
where
have
everyone-
gatherings?
So that wasn't the only person I knew
Imagine a
that died
giant
while we were in
circus
high
tent.
school.
That would be the closest comparison I can make that you can.
That was the
Okay.
closest person I
We
knew.
never had any prom outside.
No, it's
Good, they suck,
yeah,
especially when it's
they-
hot outside. It's
Okay.
miserable.
my high school would
Speaking from friends, not
have
but-
pat downs with like TSA style pat downs every time we tried to go to prom because how many people try to sneak stuff in?
I think that's every high school.
Yeah.
We don't dance on our prom. We do heroin and mushrooms.
And one girl figured out how to slit the bottom of her shoe out so she could put things in it.
This could be an epic prom. Half us high on shrooms. Like the punch bowl.
Someone did spike the punch one year.
That might be
And
the
no,
most
the-
I will never
interesting
drink
prom
from
if
any
it's
communal
spiked.
shit out of school.
So no, the problem with that was one of the teachers brought her children,
How old?
like 5 and 8. Which, I'm sorry, bringing them to a high school prom, little crazy.
Anyway, I have a better, less dark story time if anyone would like that.
Or my-
Maybe
or my
a change
teacher.
of pace, gang.
Or my
How do y'all feeling?
or my teacher
Dark
walking
story?
up there.
Better. It's less dark.
Oh, you do that, and then I have a dark story.
God. Don't-
I got another
Okay.
one about my high school
Let's get
too.
dark first. Let's get dark
I'm
first.
sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
we
you
got
want
all the
dark
dark
first?
Get
lords.
as dark
Um,
as we can.
Okay.
My
one
high
second.
school
Let's make this
teacher.
real
We'll have Jackson
controversial.
have fun.
My
Jackson will bring us back into the whimsy.
Mine's a freaking car accident bit. That's.
Oh, that's not very fun.
Oh,
You say that it's
Can't
not
we
dark.
all relate
It's not
to
as dark.
that?
It has a good ending. There's some funny bits in it.
Let me tell you about the 3 bodies I hit on the 36.
Great.
my high school teacher, my math teacher, he heard a fight start right outside the classroom. He walks out there and he just starts yelling for the other teacher because he didn't know what to do.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he was like another pedophile.
No, he was
I
he was
thought that's where
fine.
that
He was fine.
going.
He's
All
out
right,
there
guys.
just
Today we're
yelling
going
for
to
the
make
other
a
teacher.
pedophile tier list. Let's do this.
He was just yelling for. I did actually have my high school teacher's phone number. But no, he started yelling for the other teacher, and then he walks back in, and we're all screaming, "You whoop they butts, right?" Right. And then we have a video of him breaking up another fight, and he's just yelling at the girls, "Guys, guys, 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 guys."
Oh wait, this is such a bad thing to do at school. But I remember my mother telling me, okay, because this used to be a thing in schools back in the 70s or whatever, where you could actually hit kids, like hit students with
Yeah.
freaking paddles and stuff.
Mhm.
And apparently the other T is, I think I saw a while ago, Ohio. One of the Ohio schools was bringing that back. And I'm like, I don't think we should be punishing kids like that. That's horrible.
Sometimes
Can you
they
imagine getting
need
hit with a
it.
paddle?
Sometimes the high schoolers need it.
You would have to have really good consent with that, though.
Oh my
Kylie,
god.
Kylie, I think my high school should bring back hitting with paddles.
No.
Okay, do we want the dark story?
Yes.
Want the dark story? Okay, my dad literally wrote this out for me.
Wait, so who does this involve?
This is my dad's story.
Okay.
He was 8 years old.
Okay.
Traumatized. Okay, here we go. This is what he said. Okay. When I was 8 at a friend's tennis practice, a couple playing next to us, this is an older couple. The man got pissed off. He was cussing the whole time. Got so pissed that he threw his racket and it got snagged in the transformer. So like up in the wires. He said we ignored them until we heard a loud boom, looked up, see the man doing backflips stiff as a board and hit the ground. Was the only time somebody died in front of me.
Oh my god.
Why would he try?
That's what I asked when he first told me the story. I was like, why the heck would you? I don't understand that.
Racket's gone.
Exactly.
So
like,
there was like nothing they could do.
no,
Oh,
he was.
He got fried.
Yeah.
If it's a transformer, he's dead instantly.
God.
Yeah. I think
Okay,
it
see,
was.
that's dark.
It was over by my high school, by Jeffersonville High School. Those tennis courts.
It wasn't
Oh, I
worth
gotta
it
go
for
to
tennis
that high
racket.
school.
Huh?
I gotta go to that high school for something on Sunday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have to go to your gym and compete. Kylie's going with me.
I
Wait, what?
am.
Like cheer?
Yeah.
The fact that you had to say I am is not encouraging.
It's the
Yeah.
showcase that you and your mom were going, that your mom wants to go to.
Oh, great. Kirsten just traumatized us.
Yeah,
Cheer.
yeah, you're
Okay.
going there.
Oh,
No
yeah.
one dies in my story. I think that's an improvement considering what the past 20 minutes have been about. So,
I'm playing with your AirPods.
this is like the one. I kid you not. This story actually made me really popular at the high school I ended up graduating from. I loved this.
And what high school did you graduate?
South Oldham, which is far from here. It's nowhere near here.
It'd be really popular in high school. What high school did you go to? Oh, Albany.
yeah. So I had just recently transferred to the school, and first year here, starting to get to know people. This is where like I met a lot of really important people that are still really important to me. However, so at this point, I didn't really know anyone. I knew a few people. I had my little posse of friends, and that's about it. However, this story ended up getting me really well known around the school because of what happened. So I was getting ready to leave the school. This is like the one time I don't have music on. I don't have my phone near me because it's dead. So like everything in the cards would make you think, oh, he's being a safe driver, right? Because I'm paying attention, being aware. I'm getting ready to leave. And so this is also like pretty early into the school year too. I want to add that on to this. Like this is like early fall. So like school years, it's still pretty early into it.
Wait, and what year of high school were you at?
This is my final year, so senior year. And so I'm getting ready to leave, and I start pulling out of the road. And this road sucks. It is notoriously a terrible road. It's a 4-lane, so 2 one way, 2 the other lane. And you have to drive across half of it to get to where, like when you're leaving, which is terrible. It's a horrible design. But I was doing that, and so there's a light a little bit up the road. A woman that was driving a car that I'm not gonna, I honestly don't even know their names, and that's part of why the story's hilarious. This random woman who refused to go to a hospital, refused to get any type of medical checkup, refused to try to talk to any of the officers or anything, flies to a red light, no shoes on, with 2 kids in the back of her car that aren't hers, in a car that isn't hers or in her insurance. So all of this is all really important later. So she blasts through this red light, going 20 above the speed limit. So she's going 65 miles per hour right next to a school.
In a 45?
Blasts my car in half, tears the entire front half of my car off, and then tries to drive away down the road. But because her car got damaged, she ended up wiggling off and hitting one of the fences. But she did try to turn and go down the road. So blast my car in half. I black out. Obviously, I got hit full force, 65. I didn't remember what happened. I just remember getting hit, like turning and then black out. I wake up, my car is on fire. The interior is literally in flames. The hood is gone. Like I barely am even like lifted because part of my tire stand is still in contact with the ground. So the engine, everything just ripped out, gone. And I remember just staring straight ahead and going, I'm in shock. I can't feel anything right now. What is happening? And I look around. I can see like parts of my car down the road. I can like vaguely see their car. And a guy runs up to me. My airbag, for context for how hard I got hit, blew up. The airbag blew up. The car's on fire. It's just a mess. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, I look at my arm, giant bruise already forming all the way across my chest and shoulder. I'm like, oh no, that's bad. That's bad. And my arm's messed up. I can feel my neck's a little bent. My leg is completely shifted sideways. So I was just like, well, shit. And a guy runs out of his car. Thank God. He was right behind me. And he goes, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, no, but I can't feel it yet. And he was like, okay. And so he's like, I'm going to go check on the other of the car. I'm like, all right, I'm going to join you. And he's like, what? I ended up crawling out of the car, which again, my door is like, everything's messed up. I get out of the car, and this is what made me like infamous at the school. I not only get out the car and people can see my leg is all messed up, I quickly waddle over to the other car and I start getting the kids out of the car and like checking out their injuries and making sure they're okay. Because the second I heard that there were kids in the other car, I wanted to make sure they were safe. I wanted to make sure everyone was okay. So I ended up sprinting over. I didn't care about my injuries. The first thing I thought of was, okay, I need to make sure the kids are okay. I want to make sure the other group is okay. And then I'm in shock right now. So no matter what, I'm not going to feel anything if I push my body. So I sprinted over and I started helping the kids out of the car and I started tending to their injuries. Like I got like pieces of the cloth cleaned up themselves. The worst injury in that car was a slightly busted lip.
So the kids were okay.
Yeah, the kids were fine.
What about the mom?
Wasn't the mom. Like no relation to the children at all.
What?
Like, yeah, like one of the kids literally started walking away after he left the car. Like, no, it's an entire like shit show story. And I remember hearing the police report being like, what? Because I wasn't really paying attention. I was just trying to make sure the kids were okay and tending their wounds. And the mom or the woman was just freaking out, being like, oh my God, there was a crash. Like she was literally screaming, like freaking everyone out. And I went, ma'am, you have to calm down. The only way that everyone's going to be okay is if you calm down and relax. It is a stressful situation, but everyone's alive right now. And the only way that you can make sure it's not worse for the kids is if you're there for the kids. And she just kept freaking out. So I got the kids over towards me and went, hey, are you all right? And after a couple of minutes, she ran over and checked on the kids. And so I was tending to them. And at this point, the ambulance pulls up. And this is where the story gets kind of funny. So ambulance pulls up, cops are on the scene. They're like, is everyone okay? And I give them the full account. And I remember the paramedic walks over to me and goes, oh God, because my neck's already bruised. I got the laceration. I got like some burns on my hands. And I remember he looked at me and went, are you okay? I went, nope, I'm in shock. I can tell I'm in adrenaline and it's going to wear off. And I don't know when. And he went, yeah, probably. Just don't look down. Because I didn't know my leg was bent at this point. I had just been walking on it this whole time. I was like, why? And he went, just, if you know you're in adrenaline, don't let it wear off. And I was like, okay. So I look around, the officer started talking to me. And I remember one of the paramedics, he had hooked up some like devices to my arm, checked my blood pressure and everything. And I was like, and after I get my account, I was like, and I remember, this is the last thing I remember he asked me before I got into the ambulance. He was like, sir, are you able to breathe okay? Are your ribs okay? And I was like, you know, now that you say it, not really. And I fell over. Like I just fell over into the grass. And he was like, oh no. Quickly gets me into a stretcher. I'm in the ambulance and everyone's like, are you all right? By the way, this entire story, I didn't know people were able to watch. I just was tunnel vision, focused on getting to the car, getting to the curb, making sure I didn't fall on the sidewalk, and just try to be like, okay. I get into the ambulance and I get to the hospital after a bit of a drive. And sure enough, I had completely damaged my entire left side. My entire left side now has like nerve problems and like joint problems. And so like I couldn't walk at all at the hospital. I was there till 9 a.m, like the neck, like literally the neck, or no, I was there till 3 a.m. the next day, and this happened at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was literally just getting driven around to the hospitals. I had neck braces on and everything. I hate them. I hate neck braces. I understand why people despise them, because when you have an itch on your neck, it drives you insane because you're not allowed to move.
So you didn't break your neck?
No. So I had given myself such intense whiplash that my neck was extremely close to damaging nerves and stuff. So I just had to sit still. I ended up fine out of the situation, all things considered. They had to do a bunch of x-rays to make sure I didn't mess up my ribs. Worst thing I had was like a displacements, nothing crazy. But the reason why this story is really funny, because one, I had to get a cane and everything when I eventually got back to the school. So I didn't know this. My little posse of friends and like buddies were in the school bus that was about to pull out on the left side of the school that watched everything happen. And so they're like, holy shit, that's Jackson's car. Oh my God, it's Jackson. And they tried to get off the bus, but the bus driver wouldn't let them because it was an active scene at that point when the crash happened. And so they were blowing up my phone, trying to check in on me. And when I finally get my phone back after like the following day, like a decent chunk into the following day, because it turns out the principal had managed to collect it. They ended up talking to me and being like, hey, here's your phone and stuff. And my friends, they were like, dude, you're like infamous at the school right now. And I was like, what? Why? And they went, okay, I don't know if you've like heard anything. Probably not, considering you've been at the hospital. But everyone's been talking about the kid that had a messed up leg that sprinted out of the car to tend to the other car.
I don't think infamous is what you're looking for.
No, not infamous, but like
People hate you.
Like,
for what you
I was the person they were all talking about, because they were like, literally the second I was conscious and people saw me sit up in the car, I looked around, looked at myself, spoke for like 30 seconds, and then got out to help the other person. And so my buddies and everything ever since then have always said, if you ever need anything, if you want to rely on someone who will make sure you're okay no matter what, call Jackson, is what my friends now tell people. And so that ended up getting me really well known. So a bunch of kids started reaching out to me, and I made a bunch of friends after this accident, and ended up developing like a little, like, again, my little posse now became like my bodyguards and stuff, like my little tag group, because I couldn't walk or do much, but I ended up making some of the best friends of my life, all because of, in a stupid moment, I remember telling myself, I'm having an adrenaline spike. I got to do something while I can.
That's a lot nicer than mine. I broke my arm riding on a bike.
Oh, I got one of those.
The switch up.
Well, I was with my cousin. He was over, like, we were both kind of just riding bikes together, and we went to the gas station just to get like a Slurpee.
Mhm.
And I fall on my arm, like directly on the concrete, with my whole body on it. And I was like, man, this really hurts. Like, it hurts really bad. And my uncle's like, you're fine. It's just you fell. It's nothing to worry about. I was like, okay. So I go home and I was like, Mom, my arm hurts like really bad. Like I literally can't move it. She was like, all right. We go to the doctor. Doctor's like, yeah, you have like a fracture in your like elbow. I was like, okay. So they put me in a split, and they're like, it's not that serious. So you can wear the split, like the thing that goes around like this, holds your arm in place, but you don't need to have a cast. I was like, okay, cool. So because like, and just an elbow cast would be too much or something. You could just do this for. So I get back to school, and at first, like, my two friends that I had were just like, you all right? I said, yeah, I just kind of broke my arm a little bit. And they're all, oh, shit, well, what was that from? I said, riding my bike with my friend. And then eventually, I don't know where it gets passed around, but people think that I'm using it for attention.
What?
And so everyone's like, why are you using that? You don't even need it. I was like, you want the doctor's note? I can go pull out the doctor's note from my backpack. And they're like, yeah, I don't believe you. So I show them, like, here's the x-ray. And I pull up my phone. Here's the x-ray. Here's the doctor's note. And then my teacher's like, oh, so you're like the next like 2 periods, my teacher walked up to me, oh, so you're just using that for no reason? You just want attention? I was like, you're a teacher. You should mind your own fucking business, first of all. But second, who are you to tell me that I'm faking this?
The teachers get doctor's notes, by the way.
Yeah. And then that's why I was there. I was going to give him the doctor's note. He's like, oh, so this is just fake. I said, okay. So I pull out my phone. I was like, Mom, can you send me the x-rays, like the doctor's x-rays? And she sends them over. Well, here's the bone that's fractured. He's like, sure, go sit down.
What?
And then the whole school gets passed around that I was using it for attention.
Two
think you should call out
totally
that
different
teacher.
reactions.
Who is this?
He was my old gym teacher.
God.
I have an arm story too. I snapped my arm in half in cheerleading, and they called my mom and said, "We think she broke her arm."
Oh,
So now at this point, if you guys can kind of see that little scar on my arm, that's where the bone came through.
Mm.
This was here.
Mm.
So my mom thought she hurt her wrist or she hurt her arm. She's on like crying. And I call my mom back. She's being really loud and the bone's sticking out. Can we call paramedics? She's being really loud.
No, you're good.
So my mom says the bone's sticking out. Call 911. Like, paramedics get there. They immediately have to set the bone because they thought I nicked an artery. I did. The only reason that it stayed in, that I didn't bleed out, was because the bone had shot through the artery and the artery was being kept alive by the bone.
That is so hard.
We
to
think
envision.
that there may be an issue with your daughter. There's blood everywhere and it's soaked on the floor.
Do you have a picture?
But what was that reaction?
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
it's scrolled.
Oh my
It's scrolled, sorry.
God.
So that's where the bone set. That was after a set of the bone. It was kind of disgusting. It took a year to heal, a full calendar year.
Mm.
And it was horrible. But it was so fun because,
Okay,
you
so
know.
that's a near-death
um,
experience
That's
because
so
you nicked
weird.
an artery.
I would want to watch them set my bone.
Oh,
wouldn't
I
want to
passed
watch
out.
them.
I passed out from the pain immediately.
Cool.
Second it happened, I passed out. And then the doctors sent me out of. Yeah, that's literally what happened. The
All right,
doctors.
it's gonna hurt a little bit. How about?
No, the second that I got to the hospital, about an hour later, the only reason why I got my own room was because I was screaming in pain. I drove like 12. And the doctor walks up to me and goes, "We can't do anything here." I was a minor and it wasn't a children's hospital. So then they're like, "Oh, you gotta go to the hospital somewhere else." So they had to send me
You know,
to.
me and my kid injury. Me and my kid bone.
So they had to send me to Riley up in Indy. It was an hour drive. They left the IV in for the hour drive.
Wait, and you were.
I mean, they kind of have to
Yeah.
if you were bleeding like that profusely.
Yeah.
I wasn't bleeding that bad.
Well, the blood you lost.
Yeah, no, but they didn't give like anything else. They just left a needle in my arm.
Well,
and-
but again, they kind of
No, they didn't follow policy because they checked me out. It was just my mom was driving me. They were supposed to remove it because
Oh.
my mom was driving me. Parental.
I was gonna say, if you're in the ambulance, they have to.
No, drug addict dream. They sent me out with the open
Yeah.
IV straight to my vein.
All right, we're gonna wrap it.
Yeah, go.
So
that got a really dark very.
Does anybody want to tell one more story?
No, we gotta go.
that's our best.
I chugged gasoline, and that's where we're gonna end today's episode.
Woo!
That's the best episodes when we get crazy though. So
True.
Wednesday, what is happening?
I vote Hunger Games.
That does sound
Wait,
fun.
what is it?
So it's kind of like what we did for the scary movie, but we're all in Hunger Games.
Oh, fun. Okay.
I think that'd be fun.
We'll
We
do
all
it.
gang up and kill Jackson.
Why?
Let's do it.
Who's the first
Jackson-
to die?
No,
Never
I
die.
made friends immediately in the last time. I was thriving.
That was bad AI,
Exactly
bro.
right. Yeah, the AI.
I have to use a different one. I was using like Copilot or something. I'll use ChatGPT.
All right.
That'll work
So
better.
we'll do the Hunger Games Wednesday.
Okey-dokey.
Okay.
Woo!
Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.